Guys, I'm keen to do a chatting just before we kicked off, and you mentioned that some of the things that you do, and you sort of touched on it a little bit in your last response there, but it was around breathing around investing and sort of coming back to money. Tell us, to dive a bit deeper on how that all works, and how people can utilize these sorts of techniques to help them take better action, I suppose, with this stuff.
Yeah. Well, this is a very deep subject for both of us. Shane has deep dived into this way deeper than I have. What I'm getting is, look, my view of money is it's energy. You bring it in and you push it out, and it comes and it goes and flows in different ways. I have a look at it going like, if I have a look at how I am, if I am grumpy and stressed out and feeling like I've got no money, I will have no money. If I am feeling excited and happy and going, this is great, I've got a new project on the way, I'm about ready to release, money's going to flow, that it happens. And this has been my experience in observing this in the last 10 years, actually, since I've moved here to Australia and been in a partnership. And then, we've got a family to run and all that jazz. And, back in 2011, 2012, we nearly ran out of all of our savings, and we didn't have any more stores, and it caused stress. And I learned a lot about how I react to money as it ebbs and flows. And what I know is if I'm in a good state, money flows to me. If I'm not in a good state, then it's like I'm not resourceful to bring it in. Does that make sense? So it's like, for me, it's like it's in a resourceful state or not.
I will.
Maybe you can explain.
Yeah, I'll deep dive a little bit on that, because it can sound, it can sound like, oh yeah, well, that's great. You just think it, and the gold bag drops on your head, and it's not. Do you know what I mean?
I'd probably be out of a job, but
it's not quite. It's not, and there is a lot of depth in it. But what Angie is saying, I've also experienced to be totally true as well, which is that money is energy, and it's not so much that money is energy, it's our psychology and our attachment to money that's really the issue. And we're all attached differently to money. And then you're gonna, you would have seen this so many times over, like, whether someone has their relationship to money will tell you everything, right? Like their relationship right down to where they put their money, how they treat it in their wallet, how they were taught as a kid. Were they taught to separate their money up? Like we have a process here with our girls where they have 4 tins. They have an invest, a spend, a save, and a donate tin. And whenever they get any money earned, given, found, whatever it is, there's a couple of rules. They have to break it up between those tins, right? And then so they're learning. They're forming an energy around. They're forming a relationship to money that I never had. I never learned that when I was a kid. Lots of things in our household was money's. It was seen as dirty and rich people have it, and you didn't like those people because they had all of it and you didn't have any of it. So that's what we're talking about with the energy of money, right? We're talking about how you see it, how you respond to it. And I have to hand it to Angie. In the early days, we went to a lot of seminars around personal mindset, and I'm so grateful that we went and learnt a lot about money. Like we learnt a lot about what our relationship is to money. And as Angie mentioned before, there's all the, there's the positive psychology part of it. And we were like, wow, it's great to have a positive mindset and think, okay, I'm going to put out these good vibes and money's going to come to me. Well, it's not that easy as well, right? Like,
you got to go out there and do the work.
That's not, and well, there's a deeper part to that, Ben. And the deeper part to that I found was that in order for you to be able to manifest those mindsets or get yourself in those states where you're thinking positively, there's this whole physical component to your body that could either be in the way or assisting you. So as an example, if you don't put your health as a priority, right? If you aren't somewhat aware of the water you're drinking, the food you're eating, how much exercise you get, what your sleep's like. This is going to affect your mental health, and it'll affect your physical health, but it will directly affect your mental health a lot more than I think people give it credit for. It'll affect your mental health, and that will affect your relationship to money. So where this all ties in
to all things.
Well, yeah, related totally. And I guess where that all ties in is that this modality of breathing that we think ties in that whole mind-body connection and bringing in your health and making you, allowing you to feel better about yourself, or allowing you to shift your state from an unresourceful state to a resourceful one, that has an effect then on the decisions you make around money. It has an effect on who you get involved with your money, right? Like, I mean, I know for me that I like to, if I'm going to invest in something or I'm going to do something, I like to be around the people. I like to be around the people that I'm either investing with or I'm investing that are advising me, because it helps me to understand. It does two things for me, Ben. It gives me a sense of personal responsibility, because if something goes wrong, I'm less likely to blame the people, because I was there and I made my own decision to do to do the thing, right? Like, your advisors, it makes you less likely to blame and take more responsibility for yourself, because you can never control things 100%. And again, this is where having the tools in breathing just helps you manage all of those ups and downs. And there will be ups and downs. That's the other thing that we've discovered on our journey of going through all the, whether it was the mystical stuff and the esoteric stuff or whether it was the science part of it, it's like everything's in cycles. Everything cycles. So therefore, you're going to be up and down. So,
well, I'll put it this way too. A couple of years ago, we were involved in a commercial real estate deal where we bought a commercial piece of real estate and we renovated, did some boundary realignments, and then released it, and then sold off the project. And all in all, end to end, it was nearly about 4 years. It was supposed to take 18 months. We had investors involved and everything like that. So you can imagine, like, when, there was a lot of hiccups that happened in, with the builders. There was hiccups with the tenants next to the building that we owned. And there was a lot of conflict resolution that was necessary to have in that particular project. And if we didn't know how to manage our emotions, manage ourselves, and know how to talk to people, then we would have had a very different outcome. Yeah. We would not have had effective partnerships with the people. We would not have been able to do all the works that we needed to. It was done on an option. So we, it was with investors' money. So we settled, after 4 years of doing this project. So there was so many unknowns that could have thrown the project way off.
Mind you, the investors got a 33% return. So it wasn't like it was, it wasn't like it was underwhelming as far as the returns.
We made sure concerned. We looked after everyone.
But to Angie's point, the stuff that I managed on that, Ben, was not it wasn't even of the construction financial nature. It was literally people that wanted to blame and complain about each other. And it was through the management of that we saved ourselves hundreds of thousands of dollars on that deal. In delays, in things like that. So, when we look at how this work that we do folds into your financial decisions and folds into you giving yourself the best opportunity to make yourself comfortable, right? Or not, that's not the right word. The appropriate amount of money that you need to live your purpose, to do the things that you want to do on the planet. I believe that your presence is huge in that. The way you show up, your health has a huge part to play, because your mental health is related to your physical health. And then just basically how you show up. So that's how we tie it all in to, to how does this, when people say to us, well, how does it affect money or your bank account?